I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. The truth is, of course, is that there is no journey. We are arriving and departing all at the same time. As you get older, the questions come down to about 2 or 3. How long? And what do I do with the time I've got left? You would think that a rock star being married to a supermodel would be one of the greatest things in the world. It is. On the other hand, what I like my music to do to me is awaken the ghosts inside of me. Not the demons, you understand, but the ghosts. I'm always amazed that people take what I say seriously. I don't even take what I am seriously. I reinvented my image so many times that I'm in denial that I was originally an overweight Korean woman. Music itself is going to become like running water or electricity. So it's like, just take advantage of these last few years because none of this is ever going to happen again. You'd better be prepared for doing a lot of touring because that's really the only unique situation that's going to be left. I'm very good at what I do, and I don't turn my hand to something unless I'm very good at it, frankly. I change my mind a lot. I usually don't agree with what I say very much. I'm an awful liar. As an adolescent, I was painfully shy, withdrawn. I didn't really have the nerve to sing my songs on stage, and nobody else was doing them. I decided to do them in disguise so that I didn't have to actually go through the humiliation of going on stage and being myself. I suppose for me as an artist it wasn't always just about expressing my work. I really wanted, more than anything else, to contribute in some way to the culture that I was living in. It just seemed like a challenge to move it a little bit towards the way I thought it might be interesting to go. Anxiety and spiritual searching have been consistent themes with me, and that figures into my worldview. But I tend to make my songs sound like relationship songs. There, in the chords and melodies, is everything I want to say. The words just jolly it along. It's always been my way of expressing what, for me, is inexpressible by any other means. It amazes me sometimes that even intelligent people will analyze a situation or make a judgment after only recognizing the standard or traditional structure of a piece. I'm well past the age where I'm acceptable. You get to a certain age and you are forbidden access. You're not going to get the kind of coverage that you would like in music magazines, you're not going to get played on radio, and you're not going to get played on television. I have to survive on word of mouth. I was born in London 1947, after the war. A real wartime baby. I went to school in Brixton, and then I moved up to Yorkshire, which is in the north of England. I lived on the farms up there. I'm looking for backing for an unauthorized autobiography that I am writing. Hopefully, this will sell in such huge numbers that I will be able to sue myself for an extraordinary amount of money and finance the film version in which I will play everybody. I rate Morrissey as one of the best lyricists in Britain. For me, he's up there with Brian Ferry. I don't see any boundaries between any of the art forms. I think they all interrelate completely. I had to resign myself, many years ago, that I'm not too articulate when it comes to explaining how I feel about things. But my music does it for me, it really does. Confront a corpse at least once. The absolute absence of life is the most disturbing and challenging confrontation you will ever have. Age doesn't bother me. So many of my heroes were older guys. It's the lack of years left that weighs far heavier on me than the age that I am. Art was, seriously, the only thing I'd ever wanted to own. It has always been for me a stable nourishment. I use it. It can change the way that I feel in the mornings. To not be modest about it, you'll find that with only a couple of exceptions, most of the musicians that I've worked with have done their best work by far with me. I'm just an individual who doesn't feel that I need to have somebody qualify my work in any particular way. I'm working for me. I feel confident imposing change on myself. It's a lot more fun progressing than looking back. That's why I need to throw curve balls. What I have is a malevolent curiosity. That's what drives my need to write and what probably leads me to look at things a little askew. I do tend to take a different perspective from most people. That's the shock, all clichés are true. The years really do speed by. Life really is as short as they tell you it is. And there really is a God, so do I buy that one? If all the other clichés are true. Hell, don't pose me that one. With a suit, always wear big British shoes, the ones with large welts. There's nothing worse than dainty little Italian jobs at the end of the leg line. All art really does is keep you focused on questions of humanity, and it really is about how do we get on with our maker. It would be my guess that Madonna is not a very happy woman. From my own experience, having gone through persona changes like that, that kind of clawing need to be the center of attention is not a pleasant place to be. All my big mistakes are when I try to second guess or please an audience. My work is always stronger when I get very selfish about it. Fame itself doesn't really afford you anything more than a good seat in a restaurant. I'm not one of those guys that has a great worldview. I kind of deal with terror and fear and isolation and abandonment. Heathenism is a state of mind. You can take it that I'm referring to one who does not see his world. He has no mental light. He destroys almost unwittingly. He cannot feel any God's presence in his life. He is the 21st century man. Sometimes you stumble across a few chords that put you in a reflective place. I'm in awe of the universe, but I don't necessarily believe there's an intelligence or agent behind it. I do have a passion for the visual and religious rituals, though, even though they may be completely empty and bereft of substance. The incense is powerful and provocative, whether Buddhist or Catholic. The internet carries the flag of being subversive and possibly rebellious and chaotic, nihilistic. The humanist's replacement for religion, work really hard and somehow you'll either save yourself or you'll be immortal. Of course, that's a total joke, and our progress is nothing. There may be progress in technology but there's no ethical progress whatsoever. For me, the world that I inhabit in reality is probably a very different world than the one people expect that I would be in. I don't crave applause. I'm not one of those guys who comes alive on stage. I'm much more alive at home, I think. I've always regretted that I never was able to talk openly with my parents, especially with my father. I've heard and read so many things about my family that I can no longer believe anything. Every relative I question has a completely different story from the last. I'm very at ease, and I like it. I never thought I would be such a family-oriented guy. I didn't think that was part of my makeup. But somebody said that as you get older you become the person you always should have been, and I feel that's happening to me. I'm rather surprised at who I am, because I'm actually like my dad.